This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, The Swamp War. When Speaker Nancy Pelosi made a formal request for articles of impeachment against President Trump on December 5th, it was tantamount to a declaration of war with the Republicans. As if the division between Democrats and Republicans wasn't already bad enough, Speaker Pelosi drove a spike between the two sides that may never be repaired. Just about everyone understands this was politically motivated and certainly not a bipartisan effort. Of my liberal friends, I could only find 3 who honestly believe the Speaker did this as an unbiased move. Everyone else, including most Democrats, grudgingly admit it was political in nature. This was the same Nancy Pelosi who said in the Washington Post article from March 11, 2019, quote, "I haven't said this to any press person before, but since you ask, and I've been thinking about this, impeachment is so divisive to the country that unless there's something so compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan, I don't think we should go down that path because it divides the country. He's just not worth it," end quote. This was echoed by Representative Jerry Nadler, who now chairs the House Judiciary Committee and has the responsibility of producing the charges of impeachment. Back in 1998, during the impeachment of President Clinton, a younger Representative Nadler said, quote, "There must never be a narrowly voted impeachment or an impeachment substantially supported by one of our major political parties and largely opposed by the other," end quote. He added, quote, "Such an impeachment would lack legitimacy, would produce divisiveness and bitterness in our politics for years to come, and will call into question the very legitimacy of our political institutions," end quote. No bipartisanship has surfaced, yet the Speaker and Representative Nadler persevere with impeachment, meaning they are hypocrites and are pushing forward for political gain. Representative Al Green confirms this by stating in an interview, quote, "I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected," end quote. Let us not forget Representative Green has been calling for the president to be impeached since May 20th, 2017, more than 2 years before any alleged whistleblower surfaced. As Republicans have known for a long time, this is all being orchestrated to negate the president's election in 2016 and his re-election in 2020. Deep down, Democrats admit this as well. All of this was predictable the moment the Democrats took back the House of Representatives in 2018. It has become glaringly obvious they have no evidence of any impeachable offense, no smoking gun, but they have painted themselves into a corner and must move forward with it. If they drop impeachment now, they lose face among their far-left constituents and the news media. However, when the case is turned over to the Senate, their allegations will be overturned, the charges dismissed, and the House's method of jurisprudence will be severely criticized. In other words, they will lose face with the American public, who will likely vote them out of office in 2020. I call this the swamp war, for there is more to it than just the Democrats at work here. Because he is an outsider, the president has been impeded by the Democrats, the mainstream media, Republicans in name only, and government bureaucrats. You know, the deep state. Plain and simple, President Trump represents a genuine threat to the swamp, and naturally they are fighting back. As such, we are witnessing a cultural revolution of huge proportions. There has always been a political divide in this country, but not as pronounced as it is today, as the underpinnings of America are being undermined. For example, the Constitution, capitalism, Christianity, and conservative values. Perhaps the best book I have read predicting this state of affairs was This Town in 2013 by Mark Leibovich, the chief national correspondent for the New York Times Magazine. In the book, Leibovich describes an incestual relationship between the news media, journalists, and politicians. This was well before the expression fake news was ever coined. The reality is the Democrats have dug themselves into a hole which will be impossible to crawl out of after the Senate trial. When it is over, they will not have destroyed the president's political chances, but their own. Representative Al Green is correct. This will only serve to provide President Trump with a landslide win in retaking the House of Representatives. One last thought. Ever wonder why Speaker Pelosi made her announcement on December 5th? She knew the government's jobs report was coming out the next day and wanted to give a big splash to her announcement in order to cloud the remarkable jobs report, which indicates the economy is booming under President Trump. The announcement was all about misdirection. In a way, it was like the end of the movie The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Well, today it is pay no attention to the booming economy. Impeachment is nothing more than a clever subterfuge to keep people's attention away from the president's biggest achievement, the economy. Fortunately, it will backfire and likely cost the Democrats the Congress. Make no mistake, this is war. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.